Hi, and welcome back to Inspired Alchemy with Lizzie. This is episode 37. This is something that I've actually had on my mind for a few days now. And the reason this is coming out late has to do with the actual topic of conversation parenting. If you're not a parent, maybe you won't understand this, but the alchemy of parenting is huge right now. And there are a lot of people who are trying to do the parenting thing right, and they're trying to heal at the same time. And it's exhausting. But at the same time, we're trying to do the best for ourselves and for our kids. And then there are parents out there, and I don't like to judge. I really don't. I know we all do it. But there was something that I saw happen this weekend. And I've seen a lot of disturbing things happen with parents and children. But I'm going to tell you what I saw. And then I don't know where the conversation's going to go. I might talk about my daughter a little bit. I don't know how long this is going to be, but it's something I need to get out there. We want to talk about how messed up society is. But yet there are so many people who refuse to do the work. They refuse to, dig in and try to understand why they're doing the things that they're doing. So then they continue to perpetuate cycles of violence and abuse among the children. And I don't know if this needs a trigger warning or not, but just in case, I went with my family to Universal. And while I love seeing families together and things like that and having fun, there are some things that I see that I just can't comprehend. My daughter is my entire life, and she will come before anything, ever. And I say that without sounding crazy and too passionate, because I can feel the passion like welling up in me of how I want to talk about this topic. My daughter is why I'm here. My daughter is why I do everything that I do. And yes, while I do believe that I deserve to heal for myself and I deserve these things, she is what got me started on this path. I cannot imagine my life without my daughter, and that's saying a lot because I didn't want kids. But yet, when I found out I was pregnant, I promised myself that I would be the best parent I possibly could. And sometimes some people think that I am trying to be a good parent to my own detriment. It's just how it is. Okay? I don't see it that way. She is my everything. I will alchemize everything I possibly can for her. Even her being a teenager, and people like to harp on how terrible teenagers are, my kid's the best. And do I say that because she doesn't go through the same things other teenagers do? No. No, she still has mood swings. She still has all of these things, okay? But the difference is I've done the work on myself to be able to handle and hold that space for her because she deserves it, just like everybody else deserves it as they get older. Being human is not easy. Growing up is not easy. And we try to treat these children and expect children to do things that adults won't even do. You want that kid to be quiet and stop screaming? Maybe you should stop screaming. You want that kid to respect other people? Maybe you should respect other people. And yeah, this is going to be a real passionate one. Okay? I treat my daughter with all the love and respect that I want her to have for herself. I never want her to question, ever, her worth. And does she still struggle? Yeah, I'm not a perfect parent. I just do the best I can with what I know. And I'm not going to pretend to be a perfect parent. I'm not going to pretend to be some parenting expert. That's not it. I'm still learning and growing every single day. And just doing the best I can. And I know a lot of us are. But what I saw this weekend was unacceptable behavior. There was a mom, a dad, and 3 boys. And this is where the trigger is going to come in. Okay, so if you're not good with hearing this kind of thing, then I would suggest you stop listening now. The 3-year-old, the small one must have been 3. Then there was 2 older ones. Okay? The dad, he looked disassociated. He was looking around, whatever, not paying attention. The 3-year-old just wanted to connect with his mom. He's smiling, giggling, laughing. He just barely touches her face. Very sweetly, he just wanted to connect with her. You could hear the smack that she gave him reverberating throughout where we were standing. And then she proceeds to tell the kid. He went from being smiling and happy, just wanting to connect with his mom, to very stern, which means that this happens a lot. He didn't flinch. So she looks at him and screams at him and said, I told you not to touch my face. And I'm not going to use profanity because I don't want to get, like flagged. But she screamed at him. And then she proceeds to look up at her husband after she smacked her kid. And she looked at him and she smiled and she said, that felt so good. The rage that I felt inside my body, that man didn't, she must treat him the same way. And I'm not here judging the family. I'm here as an outsider looking at what's happening. You're telling your husband, and your other 2 boys are watching, that you felt good hitting your kid. Something is wrong here. Society is doing something wrong. This is a man and 3 boys. We want to know why society is so screwed up and why men don't feel like they can connect and why men don't feel like they have a voice or a say or they can be affectionate in positive ways. This is why. Because that woman refused to do work on herself to make sure that she's the best human being she can for her family. I don't care what her backstory is. I don't care. Period. The rage I still feel because I know that those kids have to deal with that is upsetting to me. And eventually it will subside. But this is why I do the work that I do. That's why I'm here doing what I'm doing, is to be better for my daughter, to be better for myself, and to be able to help people who want to change the cycle. They want to break the cycles in their family of abuse, of violence, of mental and emotional, either abuse or disassociation or whatever it is, to break those generational things. And while some people I've seen lately, it's like, oh, you don't have to do the work, you just have to exist. No, there's some work you're going to have to do because that kind of behavior, that's not going to make us better as a society. That's not going to make us better as a world. You want to know why the world is messed up? It's because people are refusing to do the work. And so they continue to perpetuate the same thing over and over again within their families for generations. Instead of looking at themselves in the mirror and going, you know what? This is probably not the best thing to be doing. Looking at my 3-year-old saying, it felt really good to hit you. What in the world is going on? Seriously. And that's not the only disturbing thing that I've seen. It's parents ignoring their children, constantly just stuck in their phones. Or, and I understand, while I do understand that people have their own trauma, I do understand that people have things that have happened to them. You also have a choice to change. And that might sound harsh. Oh, Liz, you don't know what they've went through. No, but I know what I've gone through. And I chose to change. I chose to be different. I've seen what other people have gone through, worse things than me, and they choose to change, and they choose to be different, and they choose to alchemize everything that has happened to them in their lives and make it better. There is a choice here. I'm thinking of someone very specific right now who I'm extremely proud of. I've worked with her, and she's had her own things happen. And I'm not going to say too much because I don't want to give it away, because I am up for people's privacy unless they tell me I can speak about them. But she chose to transmute and to alchemize her trauma to become a better mom and to help other people in parenting. And I could not be prouder of her. She's doing the things that she needs to do to become better for herself, for her kids, and she's going to serve others to help them do the same. That is what the world needs. I know this is a very passionate one. It's been welling up in me for days. I come from a childhood where I didn't have any support. Not until my dad came into my life when I was 14. And even then, things were complicated. But I can attribute a lot of the strength that I have, that I've learned to have in parenting, from my dad. And it's just something that's been weighing heavy on me. Is the fact that we want change in society, but yet we refuse to change. And parenting is a very passionate topic for me. Because again, I came from not having support, raising myself, raising my brother. And again, I'm not saying anything about my mom. She did the best she could, I understand. And while I don't condone her behavior, I also understand the situation. This is the crinkle of my cat in his tube. But if we want change, we have to be willing to look ourselves in the mirror. And Michael Jackson said it. I'm looking at the man in the mirror, asking him to change his ways. Okay? If we want change, we have to be the change. It's not going to just happen for us. If you want to stop seeing the cycles of pain and hurt throughout families, then you have to be willing to look at yourself in the mirror. Even if you don't have a family, even if you don't want to have kids, there's still time for you to look in the mirror and go, you know what? This is not the life I want to live. This is not how I want to feel. This is not who I want to be. And I know sometimes it's easier for people to go, you know what, I'm going to do this for my kids, because it was for me. And I know it's going to take a lot of strength for you to say, I want to do this for myself. But even if you have nieces and nephews, even if you have goddaughters and godsons, even if you have any kind of child in your life, littler siblings that are younger than you, whatever it is, you want to see the change in the world. You have to be the change. We can't expect future generations to get better if we refuse to look in the mirror. Period. Well, this was a very passionate one. For those of you who stuck around and listened, thank you. Parenting, like I said, is a very passionate topic for me. and people don't understand why I parent the way that I parent, but it's not my job for them to understand. It's my job to do what I think is right for myself and for my daughter. And so far, I haven't been wrong. And I don't say that in an ego way. I say that in a way that she's even told me, Mom, like, you've helped me. So, again, I'm not going to go into her story too deep. But if I didn't follow some of my intuition and trust in myself to do the things that I needed to do, things wouldn't be how they are right now. People don't have to understand why you do the things you do for your kids. They can think whatever they want. But if you're trying to be better for them and you're trying to give them a better life, it doesn't matter what it looks like. If that means that you live out in the country and you run around with chickens and stuff, that's nobody's business. If that means that you guys are meant to live in a city in an apartment, it's nobody's business. If you're supposed to live in the suburbs and drive a minivan, that's nobody's business. You have to do what's best for you and your kids and your family. And it doesn't matter what society thinks. We're here to change things. We're here to create something better, where men and women can get along, where men don't feel like they have to shove everything down. So yeah, I could keep rambling about this, but I won't. I'm pretty sure there'll be another part to it. For those who stuck around, thank you again for being here. This one was actually a really hard one for me to do. I was nervous about it because I can get passionate and I can be way too much. But that's what this is about, right? Being fully authentic in who I am. And you being authentic in who you are. Just remember you're not broken. Don't allow people to make you feel that way. No matter what. And if you need help, reach out for it. I actually know quite a few people that if you do need something, I know licensed professionals. If you're having a hard time, I have people that I can recommend, that I trust, that are beautiful human beings. Again, thank you for being here with me. Thank you for spending this crazy 18 minutes with me. I don't take you being here lightly. Time is a precious resource that we can't get back. Keep alchemizing, and I promise things will get better. This is Inspired Perpetual Alchemy. And until next time, keep going, alchemists.